Stop.
Kigaru Taro.
For entertainment purposes only.
Only?
Only.
Hi friends, this is Terry Suzuki from Kigaru Taro, and I wanted to tell you about the first time I made contact with my dad, who had passed away. Because it's really an interesting one in that so many things were at play. So I just want to give you a little background first. My dad and I were both hairdressers, and I worked with my dad for a little while. And when you work with somebody, there's going to be down times, and you can talk and chat. And my dad loved hearing near-death stories and experiences. It really spoke to him. It spoke to his heart, as it does mine. My dad was not afraid of dying, and he wasn't going to hurry it up or anything, but he wasn't afraid. Him and I talked many times, and there's a couple stories I'm going to tell you about contact with my dad, because he did some other very, very interesting things. So usually about 2 weeks after somebody dies in my family that I love, I receive a visit from them. And usually, it's kind of a standard visit. They tell you, they're okay. They just talk to you and tell you they're okay. And so that's kind of what I expected from this visit. But that isn't exactly what happened. Okay, excuse that little interruption. My dad died when he was about 56. So it's just kind of mind-blowing to know that I am now older, way older than my dad was. He died a young man. And he died on February 15th, 1994, at home. My sister called me about 10 and told me that my dad had died of a heart attack. The situation was, he was at home. My brother Timmy was staying over that night, which was unusual. And he heard my mom scream for him, and he rushed in, and he had to help pull my dad out of bed onto the floor so he could give him CPR. CPR is rather rough, and my brother Timmy actually for years and years felt guilty that maybe he did it too hard, maybe he killed Dad by doing it so hard. And of course, eventually we were able to talk to somebody and realize that that's not what happened, and he couldn't have saved my dad. It was just what it was. So at the time that my dad died, I was having a religious argument with myself. I was a Christian then. I still believe in God, but I am not a practicing Christian any longer. But I had been reading in the New Testament where that, don't talk to necromancers. And I was wondering, with these gifts I have, are they, am I a necromancer? Am I committing a sin? Is this a gift from God? What am I supposed to do with it if that's the case? So I was really, really hard on myself right then and there. So for the first 40 days after my dad died, I could feel him around me all over. And I actually could see him out of the corner of my eye. I would be like doing dishes and I could see that he was there. But if I turned, I couldn't see him, but he was around, and he was around for my brothers and sisters too, and that was really wonderful. So my visitation happened in a dream, and I was dreaming, and I was walking in the countryside towards a big red barn, and there in front of the barn in the farmyard was my dad. And I was of course, so happy to see him. I, ran closer, and my dad did something amazing so that he wouldn't get in between me and that argument, because he knew better after working with you. Just don't get between me and the religious argument. And so my dad did not speak to me. So we had a lovely visitation, but he did not say one word. What he did instead is he brought my horse Smokey, which was my favorite horse, who of course was also passed over, and he just smiled at me, that loving smile, and just handed me Smokey's reins. And I rode Smokey all night long, all over the countryside. I just had such a good time. I just felt really loved and valued, like my dad knew not to make me sin, because at that time I thought it was. And he knew how much that Smokey would bring me joy. And it was just wonderful. And we rode and rode and rode all night long. And then at the end of the night, my dad appeared again in the farmyard. But this time he had a grave dug beside him, a big, 6 standard sized grave, except for it was longer because there were stairs dug into the earth. And so as I came into the farmyard and dismounted, my dad reached out for Smokey's reins, and he smiled at me again. He took Smokey's reins, and then he walked down into the grave with Smokey. And I woke up crying my eyes out. I was just absolutely sobbing and bawling and just a mess. But, it was just wonderful. It was wonderful to see my dad again, and wonderful that he picked such an unusual way to tell me he was okay. So I think that one of the biggest lessons to learn here is, number one, they are all okay over there, okay? They are having their best lives there because they're having their whole lives. They're all their whole selves. They still love us. They still care for us. They still know what makes us feel loved. And I just absolutely loved that from my dad, that he cared so much to bring Smokey, to not talk to me at the time. Although I do want him to talk to, I'm hoping he will talk eventually. He talks to my sister a lot. They communicate a lot. Anyway, I am so happy to be able to tell you this story, and just know that your loved ones are just fine and they love you so much. Okay, I'm going to read a few of your questions. Here are our questions. Some of these are left over from last week when I had technical difficulties and I couldn't get them. Dana wants to hear from her mother, Rachel. She wants to have a message from her. My heart to Dana. A message. She's showing me that she's sitting there sewing something by hand, but it's not, I would find that tedious. It's not tedious, and she's sewing, and it looks like she's sewing a curtain, but the curtain is not made out of any cloth that I've ever seen. It's almost like she's sewing the sky, like it's sparkly, and I don't know, maybe I think she's helping create the beautiful skies we see. It's light, like at dawn. It looks like she's sewing the dawn. Rachel, what else are you doing over there? She's dancing. Oh, she's kind of watching ballet. The angels and the spirits can dance in those twinkles that she's sewing, and she's kind of watching a ballet, a dance. Okay, well, she's doing quite well over there, and she's in such a beautiful beautiful situation. She's just working with all that stardust, and it's really, really beautiful. Okay, Dana, you asked another question. There's two more. What will my next living situation be? Now, Dana, that's a really hard question for me. I have a hard time wrapping my mind around it, and I shouldn't be wrapping my mind around it at all. So I'm going to use a new technique we used in our Claire's class, where we use the sense of, clear tasting, clear smelling, and I'm going to try to give you information on that through those senses. Where will Dana live next? Okay, Dana, wherever you're going to live, and this is funny, I smelled this earlier today, and before I even tried to read your question, and they're bringing it back to me. You're going to live near a Catholic, wherever this is going to be, it's going to be near a Catholic church, because I can smell the incense of the church. I can smell boxwood in your yard or around wherever you live. I feel like I'm seeing a little craftsman house with a nice little yard, boxwoods and other beautiful things near a church. I probably shouldn't say Catholic church, because it could be any church. It's just they're showing me church by letting me smell the church of my childhood. Is there any taste to this that would help her know where to go? Okay, that's kind of about all I get on that. You also want some information on your career directions from your spirit guides. Now, always remember, you can ask them for this too. In fact, I would count on that even more, because they're talking directly to you. But let me see. Dana's spirit guides. Do you have any information for her about what to do? I'm just going to say it, even though I kind of feel like I'm getting in the way a tiny bit, but I don't know. I see you doing therapy at a horse therapy place, where that they help kids and adults who are disabled and need to strengthen their bodies on horseback. I see you working there, or working definitely with disabled kids who need to do core strength. Now I'm getting the flavor of the Southwest. Like wherever this is, it's going to be in the Southwest. Okay, so there you go. That's what we got. So now I have a question from Thayer. And Thayer, I hope by the time that this is on, you've found your doggy. Okay, Thayer, I'm not going to read your question out loud, and I'm going to use that smell and taste to see if I can figure out where the answer to this question. So Thayer's question is, when am I going to find my house? And you know, I'm getting from them, they're saying, stop worrying about it. Don't worry about it. And they're not going to tell me. So don't worry about it. They have plans for you, and everything will happen in the right time. Yeah. Anything else you could help her with? They're saying just focus on your art and focus on using it to heal people. And you know, your art naturally heals people just by virtue of getting to see it. And so, sorry, Thayer, when are you going to find your house? I don't know, because they want you to be patient. So, there we go on that. Okay, Martha. Martha, you have a lot of questions here, and I think I'm going to jump down to the most important one. And you want to talk to your dad, Leo, about your father-in-law, and it concerns the probate estate and the house. Leo, first give me some evidence of who you are. I feel like he smoked. I want to say a cigar once in a while, but I could be wrong, but he seems like a jolly man. He seemed like, he's not fat, but he's a pleasantly plump guy. I feel like I see him in a favorite flannel shirt. Okay, Leo, show me more. So something's happening. He's taking me on a journey, kind of, and I'm seeing this dark navy, and I see stardust in it. I see stars. So he's taking me on a journey, but he's doing something. I see him in the Navy kind of spreading stardust in a kind of a scrolly pattern. He wants you to be patient. I feel like he's fixing something with that assisted living situation. I believe there's two legal things in play here. The will, which if he didn't name anything about the house, it's split. And if he said split between the kids, then that would be the case. But he's also saying something about that there's papers that you guys signed for assisted living that will sort this, that, you know, that is what it is, and it's not going to get better. But I also get this overwhelming sensation that he's building something for you and the other siblings, that he's creating something that will heal your hearts. He wants your hearts healed. He wants you to remember him and be happy. And to know that you took great care of him. And he's absolutely happy up there. So happy. Leo, please, could you give a more definitive message? I see him putting his hands on his son's or daughter's shoulders. Whoever's doing the estate, I see him putting his hands on their shoulders and helping them to stay calm, to giving them messages of love, to give them healing, to give them wisdom. He's sharing his now heavenly wisdom with them to help them in this estate. Please give them the time to do that. Please help this person. And he loves them, and he has the hands on their shoulders, especially as they're sitting at their computers and doing this hard work. He's traveling with them to lawyers. I could see him in a car with his arm around the shoulders. He's with them, and he's helping. Okay. Okay, so let's see really quick if we can get through the rest of this. I'd like to see information for Gloria. Martha. Ooh, Gloria's beautiful. They're all beautiful over there, but she shows me that as a young woman, she was quite a looker. Yeah. She sends her love. And she's holding out like a pie for you. But it's not food that I know. It's not a pie, like a fruit pie. I want to say it's like a tamale pie, or I mean, I'm not sure what it is. It's not something I've eaten before, but she's holding it out to you, and she wants you to remember some recipe that you used to make together, or she used to make when you were a kid, and maybe try to recreate that. Just to remember that she's right there, loving you all the time. Ooh, I got chills, and I'm not sure if it's because of that or because it's a little cold today. Louis and Hector. Let's see, Louis and Hector. Please come forward and give Gloria a message. Give Martha a message. Martha. Oh, these two worked very hard in their life. They worked hard. But they're fun. They're fun. Two fun guys, I think. I think they're kind of fun. I feel like one of them has a bald head, but maybe he shaved it. The other one has some hair. They're showing me a trip. I feel like it's a trip where you were in an area that had more flora and fauna, jungly. And they're recalling the energy of that trip. I don't know what time in your life this was. I don't know when it is now, but Hector, can you tell me more, show me more, something that makes a little more sense? Is that, yeah, Luis and Hector, show me more. They are putting their hands down and putting their hands on the heads of children. The children are appearing small. I feel like there's 2 for Louise, or the one with hair, and I can only see 1 for the one without hair. But I think Louise, who has hair, he's putting his hands on the head of these children, like he's blessing them, but it's also like, please don't forget to take care of my children, or to just send love to these children. You know, it's not like you have to physically go care for them, but just remind them that you love them. They need a little help. Is there anything more? I don't know. I'm not sure about these children because I see them also growing roots down into the ground. What does that mean? I think he's talking about his legacy, that the legacy goes on and on forever, for eternity. And he's thanking you for being part of that, for loving his family, for loving his memory and letting that go on forever. Okay, that's kind of what I got. I might try a little later to see if I can get a little bit more on Hector, or I'm pretty sure I have these names mixed up, but the one with less hair. Okay, thank you so much. And if you want to have a question read, please only send me 1 question with 1 clarifying question. Don't send me all your loved ones. All your loved ones are not 1 question. 1 question is 1 person. And I will try to read them at the end of a video. You can send your question to my email, kigarutarot@gmail.com. That's KIGARUTAROT@gmail.com. Please leave me feedback, because that's how I learn. It's all right if I didn't get your loved one. I need to know that too, so I know when I don't get them, what that feels like, what those senses are like, so that I can tune in. It's a little harder doing this by camera without actually having you here live in Zoom or something. So thank you, thank you, thank you.